Hey everybody, welcome back. Talking today about a subject that probably nobody wants to talk about, and that is, what are you going to do in a long-term grid down situation? And I mean long-term, like solar flare, there's no electricity for 20 years, it's the apocalypse. What are you going to do? And of course, you know, just scenario-wise, having a discussion, not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but what do you do with those people that are in your life that are disabled, handicapped, have deep psychological conditions, are infirm, dementia, all these sorts of things? Because a lot of people have individuals like that in their lives. Sons, daughters, husbands, wives.
Parents.
Yeah, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, somebody that they're connected to, responsible for, something like that. And I'm not telling you what to do, because every situation is going to be different. There's so many different levels and different variations, but you have to take into account the fact that not only are they going to be 10, 20 times more difficult to deal with, but they may not survive anyways. For example, and I brought this up before, we both work in mental health. We work with people who are mentally and physically disabled, and many of them are on a considerable amount of medication. Just as an example, a lot of it is psych medication. And when you're talking about benzodiazepines, your basic benzos, most of the time if you get a prescription for something like that, they only give it to you for up to 30 days because you could become addicted to it. Some of the people we're working with have been taking these for years because the system, the state wants them addicted to it. It's a control measure, and it controls their behavior as well. If they go off of their 12, 18, 20 psych meds that they take every day because they're just not available anymore, they're probably going to drop dead. A lot of people don't know how to manage themselves, don't know how to take care of themselves, are on oxygen or on dialysis. And if something major jumped off, those systems may not be in place for these people. And there's only so much of it you can plan for. There really is. What are you going to do? We live in a world now where you can't get extra prescriptions. Once upon a time, you could save up extra doses. People used to do that. They'd have an extra month or 2 or 3 put away just in case something happened with the insurance, or they ran out of money or whatever, right? Lost their pills, things like that happen. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. Everything is so tightly regulated that you can barely get enough for eking out your month, and then you're getting a new script. This is how it works. And again, like I said, there's other people that are on oxygen. There are people that might get trapped somewhere. And a lot of people will end up abandoning people like that. If you've got people in a facility, because to some people managing it means, I put them in a home, let them deal with it. I pay for it, or the state pays for it, big deal. And you know, oh, mom and dad, yeah, I put them in a home. I visit them once every 2 or 3 months and sit there in Denny's for 2 hours and stare at them. And then, and that did my part as I'm a good kid. And you know, I jest, but I've seen this. I've seen that sort of thing. You have people in these facilities, they're not going to be cared for. Look what happened during Hurricane Katrina. Look at all those old age homes where people sat there and drowned, and because they're so used to being helpless, just stayed helpless. And I mean, I saw film footage and photographs of old folks sitting on the sofa this deep in water, just sitting there looking around, and it's like you're almost up to your neck in water. You're sitting on a sofa in an abandoned elder care facility. Get up and go somewhere. No, they're not going anywhere because they're that accustomed to having people herd them around. What's going to happen with these people? And again, like I said, I'm not telling you what to do. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis with everyone. I mean, you might have a disabled kid. But I mean, if you've got a disabled child, for example, let's say they have a mental disability and you've got them on 14 medications, what's going to happen when you can't get that prescription anymore and you're barely managing them now? There's so much to think about.
Yeah.
There's, do you have a plan for this? This is something that you really need to have a plan for.
I think about it a lot, especially like if it's some kind of grid down and you have to bug in and you have to be quiet.
And it could even be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
It could be like a month.
Yeah,
you know?
a month,
Yeah.
6 months. But you're bugging in and you need to be quiet. And this person, they just can't because they don't have their medicine. They wild, you know, and when they're on their meds, you kind of can control them a little bit. But you were used to things and you say, okay, if I just put them in front of the TV, they'll be all right. But now the TV don't work. And it's a sad thing, but it is something that you have to think about and put it in your plan. If something happens and are we going to bug in? That has to be your first thing. If we got this disabled person, they're in a wheelchair, they're mentally unstable.
You may not be able to bring them anywhere.
And you have to bug in. You know, what are you going to do?
There's going to be additional sanitary issues to deal with.
And I think we kind of talked about this in another video.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's something that must be considered. The person doesn't even have to be disabled. It could be your parents. Again, they're going through dementia. Or you can just have that mom or dad that's just eccentric. I mean, they
just don't listen.
They can't sit down.
Yeah.
They don't know how to be quiet. They want to share everything. They love to just go outside and just fling the doors open.
Yeah.
You know, you got to rein them in.
It could be dangerous during certain circumstances for them to be out there. Oh, we got plenty of food. Come on by my place.
My daughter can put you up. She got 2 extra bedrooms.
Oh my God. Yeah. You never know.
You never know. But those are things you really need to talk about with your family. You got to come up with a plan. You got to come up with an idea. What we're going to do with mom and them. What we're going to do with these kids that's on all kinds of medicine. We have kids in a wheelchair. Billy is on a walker. You know, something like that. Because it can get really scary really fast.
I mean, it's scary under normal circumstances often enough.
Yeah, because
to deal with it.
Some people are on machines that are constantly plugged in, and then you can have a power outage for 6 hours. You know?
Yeah.
And that person you don't have a backup generator.
And like I said, you know, there's a lot of people that are on oxygen. There are people that need dialysis, that go in for dialysis treatments. And that's something that can be done at home, but then again, you need power for that too.
Yeah, because I talked to someone recently that was considering home dialysis versus going into the place. But at home, you're hooked up all night long. And if the power go out in the middle of the night, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so much to consider. Can you prepare for it? And the thing that nobody wants to hear you say is euthanization an option. You know, that's...
You always got to bring up stuff.
It's a reality. It's a reality. If it goes on long enough, if there's no help, what are you going to do? And I know that's the thing that nobody wants to hear. Everybody's like, oh my God. But you do have to think about those sort of things. If you don't want that to be an option, then you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
You know, basically, there's a reason why 1,000 years ago, if somebody was born with problems, people used to leave them in the woods. And that sounds terrible, and it's hard to picture that looking at it from a modern perspective of ethics, because you're like, oh, that's unimaginable. Well, when you're living in a grass hut in the middle of nowhere, it's a little bit of a different story. It's something to ponder. like I said, if you don't want that to be an option, and I'm just throwing out the straight dope, take it or leave it. If you don't want that to be an option, you've got to have a solid plan. And again, I can't tell you what to do because everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, plus when things go down, you know, you really see how it is. And people that say they were going to help,
they'll help themselves.
Yeah, never count on that.
You can't.
Never, ever, ever count on that. Just put that down on the side, plan F.
Plan F all the way down to F.
Because you cannot count on that.
F is for failure.
Yeah. So, you know, be like, okay, well, Billy and his wife said that they would help out, but in case they don't, what are we going to do?
Yeah, what are we going to do? What are you going to do, guys? I really hope that you have a plan in mind. If you haven't thought about it, and you might have a situation like that with your family, now is the time to start.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And you know, you have these strong emotional ties, and the longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be to think about it. So just trying to get people thinking. That's all it is. Again, like I said, not trying to tell you what to do. I don't have a solution for you, but you need to think of it for yourself, for your particular set of circumstances. Any thoughts on that? You know, if you have any thoughts, guys, of course, feel free to post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. We hope you did. Share it if you can, probably the only way it'll get seen, because ScrewTube hates my guts. Subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. If you're curious about the random cat or dog images, a lot of people dump strays out here. We help them out. Those are our own pictures, and it actually helps with the uploading algorithm on YouTube to have those images in there, because, you know, they really would prefer all the videos were happy cat videos and pranks and things like that. If you wanted to help the channel out, there are links for that down below. Every little bit helps, and I sure do appreciate it. And if that's it, then what more can I say but stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.